So, attraction and mate selection involves our personality, and that's what we're going to do this week is talk about our own personalities. Um, it's all about you. Personality tests are a lot of fun. We're going to do the Myers-Briggs this week. But we first have to recognize what the actual definition of attraction is. It is the experience of evaluating another person positively. That's basically what it is. You're positively attracted. You may be attracted to certain types of people for your friendship groups. You may be attracted to one of your siblings more than another as far as who you relate and how you relate to them. You may have a better experience with one of your parents. And of course, in intimate relationships, you may be attracted to a person that you want to become more intimate with and maybe have a long-term relationship. Personality is a large part of what we're attracted to in a person. It's a common thing that people will say, oh, I don't necessarily care as much about how handsome they are, how beautiful they are. I love a good personality. The relatively stable and distinctive qualities that characterize an individual that have some coherence to that internal way in which they do things, that is what's attractive to people. It also represents and behaves and adapts in the world. So we will see our personalities change. Sometimes we strengthen qualities within us. It doesn't necessarily mean that we ourselves change completely, but that we may be growing in a particular area. The top 10 most likable and least likable personality traits as put in our textbook this week and adapted from Anderson's 1968 source. So it's pretty old, but I thought it was interesting that they put it in the book. The top 10 wonderful ones are sincere, honest, understanding, loyal, truthful, trustworthy, intelligent, dependable, open-minded, and thoughtful. I don't know if anybody has a sincere body, an honest body, an understanding body, a loyal body. Those are all types of personality things that people love. And then, of course, the least attractive traits, obviously, they are listed in a deep list as it starts with 546 for the last set of 10. Deceitful, malicious, dishonorable, obnoxious, untruthful, dishonest, cruel, mean, phony, and a liar. People don't like a liar. I don't know how many of you have ever taken the Myers-Briggs test, but you're going to have a link to take the test, and I invite you to do that so that we can do some threading around your personality types this week. There are 16 types. I am an ENTJ, and so I land, where am I? Let's see. Yeah, there we are. I'm a field marshal. I didn't know I was a field marshal, but I'm a person that likes to lead. But what these personality traits, and there's a video that I want you to watch in this module that describes the types of personalities. When you go to this page, also, you can get all kinds of background about your type. I think it's important for us to recognize that these different types of personalities have been put into 16 types. There's other tests I've taken that have 1,000 types, so just know that this isn't all particularly 100% science, but if you know more about yourself, you'll be a better person to your friends and family and to your intimate relationships. The other thing is to look at the possibilities of people that you'll be around. For example, we have a lot of ISFPs in the world, a lot of ISTJs, ISFJs. I'm kind of over in this category, and I often feel like this person that's at 1.8%. But I have so much thankfulness for so many of these people that are of different types. We'll talk a little bit more about that in our threading, but we need to recognize that all of these things, all of these types represent percentages of populations that have taken this test, and that in this process, we are not all exactly alike in that we have to recognize our part in knowing who we are and who others are in our relationships. Mate selection is the process by which people choose each other for sexual or romantic relationships. That's what we call mate selection. I think there's friend selection. Sometimes there's fictive kin selection, processes by which you choose others for friendships or others for family relationships. And hopefully you can also pick your biological family, or whoever was you were raised by, but this is something that we're always doing, is selecting, but that this is one of the most important parts of intimate relationships is mate selection. And we use this word love, one word often used to describe every single thing we do. And this is the hardest thing about English. We have one word. I love my green beans. I love pizza, and I love my husband, and I love my dog. But do I love them all the same way? No, I do not. In other languages, there are sometimes thousands of words. I would say for a final project, once again, another opportunity to think about something, all the languages of love and why cross-culturally we might have some issues with what love is because we have, especially in English, only one word that we really use. And so I would recommend looking into that one. According to a team of scientists led by Dr. Helen Fisher at Rutgers, my favorite intimate relationships doctor, love can be broken down into 3 categories: lust, attraction, and attachment. Again, this goes kind of to that attachment theory as well. We attach to people later on in life once we get through the lust and attraction phase. Each category is characterized by its own set of hormones. And this is the section that we're talking about hormones and how they connect us to others. Testosterone and estrogen are seen as the attraction of lust. You may have that immediate surge of estrogen or testosterone go through your system when you lust after a person. This often happens with hookup culture, to just have that sense, even though there are other types of things that are going on, especially if attraction eventually starts to play. Attraction is all about dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, and those get excreted from the body when you feel that high attraction to another person. Then if you've had a deep relationship with that person, this is usually what we see in healthy relationships of marriage or long-term attachment, long-term and good healthy parenting as well. Oxytocin and vasopressin are what's present there. And so let's look again at these. Lust is driven by that desire for sexual gratification. It's that evolutionary basis that stems from our need to reproduce, a need to share things with other living things, reproduction, or in that sense of our genes, our life being passed on. This once again would fit right in with evolutionary theory. The hypothalamus of the brain plays a big role in this. It stimulates that production of the sex hormones and testosterone and estrogen from the testes and the ovaries. While these chemicals are often stereotyped as being male or female, respectively, both play a role in men and women. So this is important, that testosterone increases libido in just about everyone. So women, you may actually be having a testosterone surge if something's going on, because we do have these chemicals within our bodies. It's not just about that sexual turn on that is visible. It's like everything can be kind of turned on based on these chemicals. And so it's important for us to recognize our bodies produce these chemicals as a reaction to that sense of lust. Meanwhile, attraction seems to be a little bit more distinct and closely related phenomenon to actually wanting to be with that person. It's not just about, oh my gosh, I have to have this person or I have to reproduce. We can certainly lust for someone we're attracted to, vice versa, but one can't happen without the other. We really need that sense of attraction for lust, and also lust leads us into deeper attraction. We may actually see this person beyond other traits than just that lust. And we'll talk about that in later modules about how we start to affirm our partnerships because of later attractions. Attraction involves the brain's pathway. It controls reward behavior. So you feel strong reward. Serotonin flows and that oxytocin and all that stuff just starts going, and it's exhilarating, and you feel all consumed by this. Dopamine is produced by the hypothalamus, and it's particularly well-publicized player in the brain's reward pathway. It releases when we do things that feel good to us. We just absolutely want to get more of it. So this is why sometimes when people say love is an addiction, as Dr. Fisher says in her video, we absolutely feel that sense of drive. And then high levels of dopamine And a related hormone, I always say the sign, nor norepinephrine are released during attraction. These chemicals make us giddy. Have you ever been giddy in love? Euphoric, even leading to decreased appetite and insomnia, which means you actually can be sick and in love. And a lot of times, love sickness is something where you can't eat, you can't sleep, and all you're doing is thinking about that person. Last but not least is attachment. It's the predominant factor in a long-term relationship. It's where lust and attraction are pretty much exclusive to romantic entanglement with that, but attachments also mediate friendships, parent-infant bonding, social cordiality, many other intimacies as well. So a lot of times these chemicals are something that you get a great sense of satisfaction and security from, if especially it's a healthy relationship. The one thing is that oxytocin and vasopressin are the two chemicals that we see nicknamed the cuddle hormones for this reason. They are like dopamine. It produces that out of the hypothalamus, and it's released in large quantities during sex. So when you are having intimate relationships on a hookup, you may still be experiencing these type of chemicals. And that's something that sometimes people aren't really prepared for. How do you go through the experience of these chemicals that tell you to be attached to this person, and yet you yourself may not want to be attached to that person in that deep way? But this also is what is exciting about long-term relationships, is that sense of security. Breastfeeding also brings these chemicals in childbirth, a sense of that connection. And so if you look through this, there's all kinds of ways in which you can look at this piece here. And once again, we'll put all the slides on about the feelings we have. Again, this would be a really good final project to do some more study on. I hope you've enjoyed this sharing of all that sense of attraction, and I look forward to threading this week, and hopefully we'll have a good collaboration as well. Have a good day or night.